asked me a question like, is he an American Cocker Spaniel mix or an English Cocker Spaniel mix? Like, I don't know.
Getting all specific, huh? Yeah, good question. I don't know.
I said, probably American.
I don't know.
I don't know what the big difference is between them, even.
But between them?
Between the American
Oh.
and English Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, I don't know. But the English ones were called Springer Spaniels. Maybe I'm wrong, though.
Let's see.
And the American side was called Cocker, and the British side was called Springer. Maybe I'm wrong about that, though. Gorilla199 says you're a middle-aged man. I'm beyond middle-aged probably now. I'm an old bastard now. Thank you. Thanks for all the happy birthdays. I appreciate it. I do have a happy birthday.
It's definitely the American one. That looks way more like dinosaurs.
Yes. Yes. The American one looks tarded.
Yeah.
It looks like the Cocker Spaniel from Temu.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, that's enough. That's enough with the goddamn birthday wishes, okay? Another volcano in Iceland? Cool. Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake. Did you watch any trash daytime TV back? Oh, yeah, dude. Because sometimes that was all there was on. Would be like, what was that one? There was one called Jenny something. She's like a blonde lady. I cannot remember her last name. Jenny something. Ricky Lake. I remember even watching like Donahue, that's a really old trash kind of talk show. Donahue. What else was there? Oh, Sally Jesse Raphael. That's another one. Sally Jesse Raphael was another one. Who else was there? Jenny Jones, was that her name? I cannot remember. How does one get a hobby? I don't know. You just you try something out, you see if you like it, and if you do, you keep doing it. Now you got a hobby, right? You have a favorite of those celebrity roasts? Oh, you're talking about that? You're just like of all time, the old school roasts or the new Comedy Central? I don't know. I don't really do favorites. Was it Jenny Jones? Yeah. I remember her. I remember watching her quite a bit. I liked her because she wasn't trying to be like family friendly at all. She would have like the weird Satanists on I remember her. And Sally Jesse Raphael was kind of the same way. Donahue was fun, but like that's like one of the oldest ones. Donahue. Phil Donahue. Yeah. He was fun. You get model building and painting? Do I get it? Yeah, it's cool. I don't think I would be very good at it. I don't think I would be very good at it.
just looking at the little different Cocker Spaniels, right? The American one looks slightly more tarted.
It does. The American one is definitely what Freckles was, my Cocker, when I was growing up. Gribbly, goofy looking sumbitch.
Probably want some brekkie.
He's like, oh, did you say brekkie? Have I ever seen a ghost? I'm not allowed to say. I'm part of a government program that studies ectoplasmically sensitive individuals, okay? That's all I can say. In fact, I've already said too much. True or false? The greatest pole farers? Pole farers? What are you even... Your Icelandic ass is all over the map today. Pole farers. Not sure what the conversation is about, but you look like a dwarven blacksmith. But I kind of do. Shit. Yeah, Dan. We covered Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Skull vodka because he made this commercial about how it was made from the finest ingredients and had a secret recipe going back to the Egyptians or some shit. When theists say evolution is just theory, is that an argument? Or, well, it comes from a misunderstanding of what a theory is and isn't, right? Like in science, within the scientific disciplines, a theory is something that has been tested and approved and peer reviewed and all of that. It's not just like, hey, I had an idea. Maybe there's a pink fucking ghost making it all happen. No, that's not a theory, right? That's a hypothesis. That's what you call something before you test it, right? You have a hypothesis. You hypothesize. So it is not the hypothesis of evolution. It's not the hypothesis of gravity. It's the theory of gravity. It's the theory of evolution. The reason they're called theories within the scientific community is because they have been peer-reviewed. They have testable, repeatable experiments that anybody can do. They have testable, repeatable observationals that people can do. And they are the best explanation that we have, scientifically speaking. So a theory is actually the tip top of science. It's what happens when you have a hypothesis that gets tested, repeated, and is found to be true by the balance of the scientific community.
I mean, the reason they use the term theory is because, obviously you can't, film it in real time, millions of years of evolution.
Right, you can't film the full theory of gravity. You can't film evolution happening, right? Like, it's something that you have to test in various ways.
You infer it from all the other facts.
Oh, shit. I've been watching on and off since the pre-DP Paul's Ego days. Just want to say thank you for all the entertainment, thoughtful discussions, stories. Have a good birthday. Thank you. I very appreciate that. It was very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you guys from? Oh, I'm America. I'm from California.
West Coast, best coasts.
We're Westies. Westies for the besties. We're Westies that have lived all over
Yeah.
and came right back to the Westies. Just because something is a theory, that doesn't mean it isn't provably true. No, I mean, like, theory is used colloquially, right, by people all the time. They'll be like, I've been losing my keys lately, but I have a theory as to why. Or like, I'm watching Nip Tuck and I have a theory about what's going to happen this season, right? It's used colloquially to mean I've got
Prediction.
a prediction, I've got a guess, I've got an idea, right? In the scientific community, that's called a hypothesis, right? And you can have as many of those as you want. You can hypothesize based on this experiment that, you know, plasma is a solid. But if you can't recreate a solid plasma, then we're going to go ahead and stick with the theory of states of matter that we have now, right? Theory is a framework, not an intuitive guess. Right, exactly. A theory is an explanation for a phenomenon with testable, repeatable results that has been peer-reviewed and is the basis oftentimes for other scientific inquiry, right? So the theory of gravity...
It's not like we see literal gravity fields that we'd be like, look.
Right. And it's also, you know, the theory of gravity is foundational to our understanding of other scientific
like
mediums.
With the asteroid shit, like they
Right.
use
Astrophysics,
gravity.
just physics in general, has to a lot for gravitational force, right? So even if you're not specifically studying gravity or working with the theory of gravity, you have to, if you're working with something that is affected by gravity, which is everything, you have to factor in gravitational force.
And then like with evolution, that's kind of how you do like genetic counseling and healthcare, like
Right. It's also how
carrier genes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and it's just the understanding that we have of the workings of animals and how entirely similar an animal's insides and makeup is to humans and to everything else, right? Like it's like being able to trace the etymology of the lineage of a being by opening it up and examining it and looking at its behavior, right? And making inferences as to which beings it's like and classifying that being, right? Like all of that shit is dependent on the theory of evolution, right? So it's not just like this, like some dude guessed and then science just went like, yeah, that seems like a good guess, and then just started basing itself off of that. It makes no sense, right?
I remember in a Sunday school one time, the argument was, I need to see film of a monkey turning into a person.
And it's just like,
it's too slow.
Yeah, what do you want? Like a 10 billion year time lapse? It's retarded. But that is how like people will misunderstand and
Like,
and
where's the
purposefully
transitional
misrepresent.
forms?
I remember that it was like that Australian guy that built the Ark experience in Oklahoma or wherever it is. They built like a giant Ark and they've got like a dinosaur museum. I can't remember that guy's name.
The Ark Encounter, I think, is in Kentucky.
Wherever it is, but yeah, he's like some Australian guy, and I remember him. Oh fuck. He used to do these like little where he'd go to like Christian schools and give a talk. And part of his talk was like, if the theory of evolution is true, is this your grandmother? And he would put up a picture of a monkey wearing a wig, and all the kids would go, ah, is this your grandfather? Ken Ham, yeah, that's him.
Isn't he the one that went to jail for something, or am I thinking of someone else?
That's Dr. Dino.
Yeah.
That's the other guy. He went to jail for tax evasion. Kent Hovind, yeah. Kent Hovind is Dr. Dino. He went to jail for tax evasion. Ken Ham is
he's the one that debated Bill Nye in
Bill Nye,
2014.
Yeah. You guys know that channel, Modern Day Debate? Have you ever seen that channel on YouTube where they have, it's like a debate bro adjacent thing, but it got pretty big because they'll just have two people that disagree on in the moderated debate format, right? In the early days of that channel, they reached out to me to debate Kent Hovind. They were like, we want you, you know, we think you'd be entertaining against Kent Hovind. And I was like, you need a scientist, bro. I was like, I'm an atheist, but I'm not a scientist. I was like, you need to get somebody who's going to be able to call bullshit on some of the shit that he says, because I don't, you know, I'm not a technical evolution guy. You know what I mean?
You haven't studied Darwin
No.
and all his contemporaries.
No. I was just like, man, I don't want to provide like a blowout for Kent Hovind. You know what I mean?
By like mixing up different eras in the dinosaur timeline.
I was just like, that ain't me. I can't do it. The most upsetting thing about Ken Ham is his museum actually has some genuinely phenomenal prehistoric animal statues. They're really niche, well-done species. They're just wasted. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they gotta pull out all the stops.
Yeah, I've kind of wanted to go check that place out just for the fucking memes of it.
Yeah.
But when am I ever going to be in Kentucky? You know what I mean?
You don't have any interest in the Derby?
Nope.
I got the fuck out of that area.
Yep. You used to live nearby enough to maybe make a day trip of it, but...
Yeah. I decided to come to you instead of you coming to me.
Yep. Any meetups planned for this year? Stay tuned, I guess. I mean, it's one of them things, man. One of them things. Ooh, I'd at least like to get one done this year.
I think East Coast is the most logical for if we do one, just because you haven't done it before.
I don't know if it's the most logical, but it's probably the most, like, it's probably the one that would get the biggest turnout and the biggest pop, just because we've never been all the way over east. Or I guess it's been a long time since we've been accessible to that area.
Yeah.
It's not like we've never been over there, but...
Not all the way over there.
Not all the way, yeah. We've never been on the actual East Coast.
It would be way easier for, like, Europeans to come to.
Yeah. There's always at least a couple European people that have made the trip.
It would make it that much easier if they just had to do the one international flight.
I mean, that's where most of European air traffic lands, is New York. Did you get rid of it, or are there no flies for your salt gun? I still have my salt gun, but there are no flies for my salt gun. Maybe they'll come out in the spring.
And we've seen like a handful of skeeters. We had the flea thing. We see like some of those moths that hang out over by our light at night.
I ain't seen.
And we got a shit ton of frogs nearby, so I feel like they're doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, those frogs are helping to clean up the skeeters and the flies and anything else. But yeah, I just don't need them. And that's a new thing in the area that I was living in, too. The pestilential flies are a result of the desertification of the Central Valley, like the re-desertification of the Central Valley. That's
it's too damn hot for the things that eat flies on a regular basis.
So, like, the heat chases away things that would feed on the fly population. Birds, amphibians, reptiles that would normally be around are chased away, climate-wise, or killed outright by the heat. It was like the last couple of years we lived there. I mean, it was just a huge outbreak of black widows. And they were just like those they were just putting egg sacs up on the wall because there were so little predators around. It was just like, so
under chairs.
Like, they would
never do that if there was a bunch of
if there were just birds and shit, like we'll get up underneath that type. They look up under things for egg sacs and spiders that are hiding and stuff, and it's just like impunity in that area now. Flies, mosquitoes, black widow spiders, brown recluses, just all these like cockroaches, right? Mm-hmm. All these bugs that don't really care if it's extra hot are living the high life in that area now because the extreme summer heat has chased away all the predatory animals. So that was why you guys would watch me for hours shooting flies. It was like a plague of flies. And it was never that way when I was a kid. You'd get flies. It's not like... But this like swarm of insane, incessant flies landing on you constantly. You kill 20 of them and there's 20 more. You know what I mean? That was never the case in the Central Valley. Now it is.
Well, also, too, people have more standing water because they want like little kiddie pools and stuff for their kids to try to cool off.
Or they're just watering their lawns, leave them behind those puddles and stuff.
Yeah, because when it's the ground's baked to death like that, it doesn't absorb right away.
Yep. So it creates a little pool, and that's just enough time for a fly to come squirt some eggs in there, or a mosquito, as it were. Heat exhaustion in the shade. Like I said, you can go back on this channel, look at last year, summer. So, just about a year ago. Tune in.
Yeah, you'd be out at 9 p.m. and it's still 9
I'd be out at 9 p.m. sweating like a fucking whore in church. I would be out at 8 in the morning, and I'd be bitching about how it's already in the high 90s. I would be constantly plagued by mosquitoes and flies the whole time I was out there. And eventually, my phone would overheat, and I'd have to go inside. It's unlivable. It's untenable for human beings at the level it's at now. And all indications are it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it was dead silent on the 4th of July until it was, like, well into the night.
Yeah, the 4th of July, like, typically, you know, I don't know how it works elsewhere, but in California, the 4th of July starts at, like, noon. People are out
partying, setting off
and yes, it's hot.
Yeah.
But people got barbecues. They put out their misters and their little shade tents, and they have a block party, and there's fireworks and music and people. Dude, there wasn't a human being outside of their house on July 4th last year because it was 122 degrees. and people didn't even start setting off fireworks till like 8:30 or 9 because it was just unbearable to be outside when the sun was out. It's over. Like, and that's one of those things. It's like human, like it is right now antagonistic to human beings to live in that area, and it makes no sense to continue stacking human beings in that area. It is
people love crawling to that because it's cheaper than the rest of California.
It's California. It's slightly now cheaper than most of the coastal California, although the gap between that has decreased. You know what I mean? And it's just like just the amount of surreptitious energy it takes to cool one home in 122-degree heat.
Well, you literally can't cool it below a certain point because
unless you've got an industrial AC, which is sucking 10 times the power of a normal AC. But even if you don't have that, you've got your AC running at max all day just to keep it like 78 in your house, if you're lucky. And you times that by the 500,000 people that have immigrated to that area since I was born, and you've got an idea of how retarded it is to continue stacking human beings in a place that is slowly dying. It's going to require more and more and more and more and more energy, more and more waste to keep people alive in that area.
It's so much harder to keep the agriculture in that area alive.
Yep. And the people that do stay in that area are going to be plagued by flies, locusts, and toads, and all this shit that is normally cleaned up by shit.
I mean, like the whole thing of like illegal immigrants being more willing to pick the fields. There's a limit. Like they can't just go pick in 120.
Not only that, but it's just like watching Donald Trump round up all these people and ship them out. It's like, who's gonna pick the fields? Who's gonna do it? Because I will tell you with 100% certainty, when you drive around the breadbasket of the United States and you look at during picking season, there are migrant workers and migrant community vans for migrant organizations that help these people get back and forth to their fucking jobs and shit. It's always them out there picking.
That's why, what was it? Nixon or Reagan that naturalized a bunch of Mexicans.
So it's like, who's gonna do that? Who's gonna do that, and where are they gonna do it? Because the Central Valley of California is slowly becoming untenable for agriculture, and it's probably the main breadbasket of the United States right now. Uh-ohs.
It's a pretty big producer of dairy too. Like it rivals
dairy, beef, pork, staple vegetables. Just, it's on and on. Grain, alfalfa. Yeah, I just don't know, man.
There was one benefit. Because we were so close to the dairies, the milk was significantly better than a lot of the rest of the country.
Sure. I mean, that's true of like the produce and shit too.
Like we get floppy ass produce around here.
As well you would assume that you would. It's, you know what I mean? It's being shipped. Most of that stuff, well, not most of it. There's a lot of stuff imported still in your grocery store, but like in the Central Valley, a lot of that shit just made a real short trip through a washing thing and a packing plant and came straight to the grocery, and that's crazy. Did you grow produce in your backyard? There's probably a limited number of things that would do well in the climate that we live in.
And we had barely a yard at all.
Yeah, well, at this other place, yeah, that wouldn't have worked. I thought they were talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I think there's probably certain plants that would do well in a colder climate, but
there's the issue of too wet too. Like plants don't want infinite water.
I'd more than likely have to do like a greenhouse here if I wanted to which is, you know, that's cool. But it would keep the cold off of the plants, and it would keep the rain off of the plants, and allow you to kind of, that's what gardening is. It's controlling how much water and sunlight and everything your plants get, and controlling the pests that get on your plants. So, man, I have like, my mom used to have me pick tomato worms off the tomato plants. And that is just like the craziest memory in my mind, because I was so little that I remember them being like almost big enough for your whole hand. You know what I mean? It's just a weird memory, because they're big. They look like aliens too. Like they're green with black spots, and they're bright green like the leaves. Fat, disgusting. They poop on you when you pick them up. They squirt like this ooze out of them.
Like panic poop.
Yeah, they panic poop. But I will tell you one thing. I'd used to go to the tomato plants, and I'd have a bucket, a little bucket, and I'd pick these tomato worms. I'd get about 15 of them, and then take them over to the chickens, to the chicken coop. Just dump all those chickens would go ape shit. So it was perfect. You know what I mean? It was a good ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, ideally the chickens would pick it off the tomatoes, but their beaks would probably punch holes in the tomatoes.
Well, the chickens would eat, they'd peck at the tomatoes too. You can't have your chickens running around your garden. You got to keep that shit separate. But no, that's perfect for chickens. Any kind of like pest, insect pest that you have, instead of just like killing them and sweeping them up, you throw them in the chicken coop and they will eat every bit of it. Yeah, they used to go ape shit over them worms.
They just need to breed a new chicken that's like for pest control that doesn't have as sharp of a beak, maybe. Like give them a longer tongue to like...
Mutant chickens. Ugh.
I mean, it'd be cool if it worked. Just chickens running around that were just like...
Yeah. It would be a little disturbing, but cool. Well, chickens love like moldy stuff, like moldy bread, moldy vegetables, like vegetables that have gone bad, and trimmings from your vegetables and stuff. Like you just put all that in your chickens.
They're almost like raccoons, almost.
A little bit, yeah. They're grazing animals, and they get, they eat grain, and so they're omnivorous animals, and so they're good to throw pretty much anything in there, and they'll eventually pick it up.
They'll even eat their own eggs.
They'll eat chicken. They'll eat each other under the right circumstances and shit. They don't give a fuck. A chicken is about as close to a robot as an animal that size gets on the planet. Their brain is just like basic, like just what you need to kind of like walk around and eat and shit. You know what I mean? They're very dumb birds. Well, I'm not dumb, just very simple. How's that? That's probably a better way of putting it. They have some of the smallest brain to body ratios of any bird. In a species, by the way, birds, which, a lot of them are very, very intelligent. Chickens are on the other side of that scale. Chickens are dumber than shit.
And aggressive.
Angry, pissy, fickle, defenseless for the most part. Oh yeah, they'll shit in their water supply. You gotta muck out their stall constantly, because they've got a whole area to feed and shit in where it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but they shit right where they live. Constantly.
They sometimes you have to like do like anti-cannibalism measures.
Yep.
They'll just start even if they're well fed, they'll start like
Yep.
picking at each other.
Yep. You gotta separate out the chicks if you're doing that. We never like had producing chickens where we would allow like chicks to happen. We were always collecting their eggs. So when a hen would pass away, we'd just go to the supply store and get another hen.
What?
Woof.
I want to see that howl again, buddy. I don't know if we'll ever get another one out of you.
I don't even think he knows what he did.
Yeah.
Tapped into the wolf for just a second. Is it true birds came from dinosaurs? No. Birds didn't come from dinosaurs. Dinosaurs and birds share a common ancestor. A recent common ancestor.
They're very dinosaur-like.
Right. And dinosaurs were very bird-like, right? They are related species.
Yeah, like dinosaurs aren't the same as reptiles because they're warm-blooded.
They're warm-blooded.
Like birds are.
Yep. And the more that they study these dinosaurs, the more that we're finding that a lot of the dinosaurs that we've portrayed as these like scaly lizards that are naked were covered in down and feathers and stuff like that, right? So yeah, some species of dinosaurs and saurids or whatever were cold-blooded, and the closest relatives of those are the crocodilians, right? But the vast majority of the dinosaurs that you picture when somebody says dinosaurs were warm-blooded animals.
Well, like it's just hard to be cold-blooded and be as massive as they were.
Yes.
That's why a lot of lizards are little itty-bitty things, where they live in super hot climates.
Right. Well, they think the T-Rex was bird-like. Well, they think it was feathered. I don't know how bird-like that makes it, but it was a feathered dinosaur.
Well, like the small arms are kind of reminiscent of like how bird wings look.
Well, those are just, yeah. I mean, those kind of like limbs in a bird evolutionary path would have turned into functional wings. But
or at least flapping wings.
Right. Best part of homesteading right now is that I can make great money on the side selling eggs. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, cool. I think we need more of that, little neighborhood kind of food gardens where, either people keep it up communally, or maybe there's like little fruit stand and vegetable stand and egg stand where you can buy local stuff that's from your neighborhood. That we need way more of that shit. You got to go collect your eggers. Yeah, go get your eggs. Go check and see what your girls have been up to. That's what my mom would tell me when it was time for me to go get eggs. Go see what the girls are up to. Go see what they've been doing. Pick up the eggs. Boop, 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 boop. I thought cold-blooded reptiles couldn't go super fast or whatever. No, they can go fast, but because of how their biology works, they have to store up the energy, and then they do short bursts of energy, right? So it's like a crocodile or an alligator. If you look at them, they spend most of their day floating or sunning on the beach, right? Just being pretty stationary animals. And then opportunistically, when it's time for them to feed, they have this burst of energy where they'll go and grab something or ambush something that's near the edge of the water. they use a lot of that stored up energy to kill and secure that kill. They eat it, and then they go right back to just laying around and soaking up the sun. So that's the problem of cold-bloodedness, right? Yeah, and if it's cold, obviously their energy plant is less efficient, right? Oh, what is that birdie? He's very dark colored. Is that a robin redbreast? Robin redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. He's definitely got a red chest, but he's very dark otherwise. That's a very strange bird. I'll have to look and see what that is. He's beautiful though. Very pretty. I think that might be a robin. Oh man, yeah. Wow. Mini dinos. Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm not sure that that's what he is, but he's very dark gray, brownish, but his chest and belly is like bright red. So I'm guessing robin, but it could be something else, to be honest with you. They don't seem very friendly like the birds around here. I think it's more a function of the fact that I live under the canopy of a forest. So it's like on these little nooks and crannies that we have where a bird could land and just hang out, and where you'd think they might, they have so much better options, you know? Like, are those tariffs going to mean for individual people? Probably just like shit's just going to cost more. What else is new, you know? Staple shit is going to cost more. Any cool birds of prey? Wow. I haven't seen any yet, but there are 3. One of which that I'm really familiar with because I've lived around them, and then 2 of which that I'm really excited and hope to see someday. So there are red-tailed hawks around here, which I'm very familiar with. Red-tailed hawks are beautiful. There are great horned owls here, one of which lives near me. So I have a great horned owl that lives or makes his kind of like area somewhere around here, right? He's doing his thing. And the most exciting one for me is bald eagles. We've got bald eagles that live natively in this area. So that's pretty cool. Merca. Aren't they the birds that have a nice sound? The red-tailed hawks, yes. If you hear like an eagle screeching in a movie or a TV show or a cartoon or something, it is likely a red-tailed hawk. They have that really powerful kind of screech that's very recognizable. Eagles kind of have like this high-pitched thing that doesn't sound much like that at all. Yeah, they sound kind of pitiful. Oh, I ain't scared of a bald eagle. I just haven't seen one yet. Any Mothman sightings? No, I ain't seen the Mothman. I did hear some shit out here one time that was really late at night. Me and Amelia were huddling out here in the cold, smoking a cigarette and just kind of quietly talking. And all of a sudden, there was this like screech slash gurgle. And it was really loud and really close to us. And we both just kind of silently stubbed out our cigarettes and went in. We were like, nope. Whatever it was, it had that immediate effect on both of us. We were like, no, we need to get out away from whatever that is. What truly fascinates you? Psychology. Like human psychology is endlessly fascinating to me. If I'm truly endlessly fascinated by anything, it's probably, well, just psychology in general. Animal psychology is interesting as well. But yeah, it was definitely, I don't know, man. It was just one of those things where like we heard this noise. It was not immediately identifiable as any other kind of animal. All the other animals in the forest were quieter than shit. And it immediately triggered a kind of prey response in us where we were like, nope, time to get safe. Time to get indoors. Time to not be sitting back here with whatever the fuck that was. Yeah, the bald eagle sound is pretty fucking underwhelming. It's definitely not the sound that they usually use for a bald eagle. Should have invited it over for a smoke. Nah, I don't think it wanted a smoke. I think it was El Cucuy, to be honest with you. If I had to take a guess, I think it was El Cucuy. Personally, that's the feeling I got. The woke mind virus. The woke mind virus. The woke mind virus. They wanted to smoke me. Yeah, wanted to roll me up and smoke me. Maybe it was a Wendigo. Whatever it was, dude. Whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, bro. I didn't want no part of it immediately. It's like my brain knew, nope. Something about that ain't right. You need to get away. And we did. That was that. I don't know what it was, nor do I want to know. Is that a joint or a blunt? It's a joint. It's a joint, my friend. What's the difference between a joint and a blunt? Paper wrapper, tobacco wrapper. Joint, paper wrapper. Blunt, tobacco wrapper. Thanks for the happy birthday wish. That's enough, though. That's enough. Do you know that Terror Bay was named after the ship the Terror before anyone even knew that its namesake was sunk there? No. Did I just hear someone howl in the background? No, there's chickens. There was chickens. Brrr. Chickens. Maybe you can get TJ with the propaganda at these nuts line. That's a good one. It would be better if we were British. So we don't really use proper like that, right? But it would work. I'll do it. I'll file it away. Unless he's watching now. See, that's the problem. Is I know TJ be lurking on these sometimes. Because sometimes he'll jump in the chat. I know he'd be lurking. Do all humans have paranoia to some degree? It just depends on how you handle said paranoia. I'm sure, yeah, people, I mean, being paranoid is different from, being paranoid about something is different from having, like, deep-seated paranoia about everything, right? I think it's hard to have anxiety disorder. Oh, I have one. Yeah, I know. I've got an anxiety disorder. I suffer from pretty fucking heinous panic attacks. I guess, and when I'm not properly medicated, that is. And it is awful. It's awful to be untreated and to have to just ride your way through those horrible things. Yeah, it sucks. To make you worry all the time. I mean, I'm prone to that anyway. But yes, I have that as like a personality trait where I'm kind of a worrywart, kind of find something unknown or looming to worry about and lock in on it, and I'll just fucking cyclically worry, those sort of things. Have you ever gotten immune from getting high due to smoking so much kush? Immune to getting high? No, thankfully no. It probably takes more for me to get super baked than it does the average person, but I still get there. I'm approaching that now. I had a little like quarter of a joint earlier. I just rolled this, and I'm working my way through it. I'm a few more puffs away from good and high, where I want to be, where I'd like to be. It's definitely a tolerance. There's a tolerance issue and a skill issue. Yeah, in the DP days, my tolerance was as high as it's ever been, probably higher than it's ever been, because I was just dabbing constantly. It's dabs, 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 dabs. That's super concentrated shit. Like, you can go back and look at ideologies from the DP days, and I'll be sitting there at my desk with a dab rig and a torch, and I will just rip half a gram of wax in, a 20-minute sesh and still be pretty much functional. You know what I mean? Like, it was just way too much, bro. Just way, way too much. Back in the DP days, how long would you guys spend getting stoned before a show? It depends on the show. Like, I know me personally, because like, if you talk about like when I was in studio, when the show was in Bellevue, I lived in the same building as the studio, and so I would be oftentimes the first person up at the studio, and so there was no like, hey, let's get stoned and then start the show. It was like, I would show up, get stuff cleaned up a little bit, and then usually Ben would show up, start setting up his end of the show, getting stuff pulled and all of that. And at that point, I would probably twist up a doob or pack up a bong or whatever the fuck. And then he and I would get baked. Then the Kirks would show up, and they'd usually get in on the rotation, and then the show would start, and the rotation just continued for 4 hours. You know what I mean? That's basically how it was. Yeah. I remember some of those Periscope days. Sometimes you would become just barely functional. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, keep in mind, too, that I don't know which Periscope's which, but I was probably drinking a little more heavily at that point in my life, too. So, but yeah, I mean, just dabs and like wax infused joints and this, that, and the other. And it was a space cadet high. No, weed vapes hadn't really taken off during they existed, but they hadn't really become widely available during the DP days. If anything, the DP days were pretty typified by wax. Like wax. Dabs of all different stripes. You roll your J's or buy pre-rolled? I roll them. Well, if you had to go to church, would you like to go to a Baptist church with a lot of singing instead of just preaching? No. I don't like church. I've been to church enough to know that it ain't my thing. Oh, D. Oh, D. Why, yes, young lady, thank you very much. It's so nice to see a young person that cares about the old these days. I ain't far from that shit, bro. I'm gonna need somebody to help me across the street here in a couple years. I just feel it. I can just feel that shit coming on, you know? That curb is pretty high. Could I just ride on your back? Let me just piggyback you. Old man piggyback. Floof monster. We use a cool walking stick when you get old. Maybe. Yeah, I am I'm official old. Phoebe's just razzing my ass today. But it's true. I am fucking deathly old. It's okay, though. I like it. Fluff monster, what are you doing? a gray fox. I'm not even gray, though. I still have all kinds of colors in my hair. Partially grays. I got lots of grays, but it's not all gray yet. It will be soon, though. I think for my dad, he went full gray, like right around his mid 40s. I'll have to ask him. My dad is wild, dude. I haven't spoken to my dad in like 2 months or something, right? It's been a while. And he sent me a poem from, like, not a poem, but like prose for my birthday. It's like, whoa, cool. Hey, Dad. What's up? Need to ask him about Trump. I need to get Dad to agree to just come on as a guest one day. Don't women like a little grayness on men? Some do, probably, yeah. I know Amelia loves my little wispy grays. So I'm lucky with that. What mended your relationship with your father? I remember that you said you didn't talk to him for many years. So my dad was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and it almost killed him. And he was pretty much on what a lot of people believed to be his deathbed. And my family had kind of reached out to me and let me know that, like, hey, you know, it's now or never, basically. And I didn't feel right, like, letting my grudge with the man who I was at that point, and maybe even to a certain extent now, still kind of mad at. But I didn't feel like it would be right to not at least try and see him, if not mend things. And so I showed up, and it just happened to be the day that I got there. He kind of came out of this fugue state he was in and started getting better. And he is now in full remission. He's cancer-free. And he and I reestablished contact during that time. And, you know, made moves towards mending that fence. So. It's got your Kid Rock cup. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, boy. Like a scene from a movie. kind of felt that way. You know, we hadn't seen each other in many years at that point, and I think both of us had just kind of resigned to, like, man. Yeah. First thing he said to me after all those years was he kind of like sat up a little in his hospital bed. He said, "Damn, boy, you look like a badass biker or something." I was like, "Dad, when's the last time you fucking saw a badass biker, homie?" I no, but thanks. And your dad make fat jokes on you a lot? Well, not like, he couldn't really, like, most of my childhood, he couldn't really get away with making fat jokes because he was fat. You know what I mean? So it was like, I could just sling him back. He would mostly just joke about what a virgin nerd I was. It was more like frat jokes than fat jokes, if you get my drift, right? PJ and the Loser Crew, yes. Did he lose weight? Yes. My dad's like, I'd say like on the thin side now. So, you know. Howdy doody, Pranav. How's Mindy been? She like still sore, fully recovered, and all that. Did I caught your pictures. I'm sorry I didn't see them right away, but I saw the pictures you sent me. It's fucking crazy, bro. Did your dad riz you up whenever you came home with a lady? Riz me up? I didn't come home with a lady all that often. That was part of his problem. Part of his problem is that I just hung out with my nerdy friends all day and smoked pot. You know, I think he would have liked me to bring home chicks all the time. But it's like, you know, the few times I brought home a chick, it was well after his old fucking decrepit ass was in bed. And I would sneak the chick in. I think the problem is that like my dad thought he had this like window into my private life. But really it was just like a foggy window filled with assumptions. Because, you know, like for better or for worse, I'm not trying to brag here, but I did a lot better than a lot of people in high school when it comes to shit like that. Like having girlfriends, messing around with girls. I mean, I like lost my virginity in the early part of my high school career, like, you know, maybe my dad's generation did. I don't know how it worked with them. But, you know what I mean? I was fine. Like, I was not an incel. I had girlfriends in high school. I had chicks that were interested in me. I fooled around with chicks. You know what I mean? Does he make fat jokes on you now? No. No, my dad, the mean streak seems to have gone out of him. Whatever that was, seems to have gone out of him. Of a lot better than me. It took a long time to gain confidence. Not to mention I had to grow into my own body. But yeah, dude, Mindy's good. Got brand new cars now. Okay, good. I'm glad. I was gonna tell you, man, safety feature wise, I know you guys probably aren't looking for an EV or whatever, but it might actually work really well for you. I know you've already got your new cars and shit, but like one of the things I love about my car, EV or no, is it's just like slammed with all of this. I've got like, I think it's 8 cameras on the car. I've got that like faux camera that shows a 360 around your car and has like a little representation of your car in the middle of it, so you can see 360 degrees around you to a certain extent. The backup cameras and the auto braking and the lane guidance and like all of that shit just makes a fuck ton of difference. A fuck ton of difference. She got an Acura and I got a BMW. All right. Good luck. I don't think I've even driven either of those types of cars, but they sound like they're probably packed with all them safety features and shit. So. If you get a Tesla, you can get footage of dudes wiping duty on your car. That is true. That is part of the perks of having a Tesla, is that you got Sentry mode, so you can get good video of a dude reaching into his own shitty butt, pulling some mud out and wiping it on your car, bro, over and over. Yeah. Telling you, man, you should have took a peek at that Aria, bro. Because, like, room-wise, it's insane. I was able to fit a whole couch in the back of that shit, son. I laid down my seats, and I packed a whole ass couch in the back seat of that fucking car, son. I'll show you which couch. Because it's actually legit impressive that I was able to do what I was able to do. I was able to get this couch fully and completely in the back of my car. Talk to me about that shit. No, it's a... Couches are one of those things that I've never been able to bring myself to spend a bunch of money on. I'm a pretty naturally frugal dude when it comes to that kind of stuff. With the hatch shut, yes. How did I do that? Took off the feet, unscrewed the feet from the bottom of it to give me that extra like 2 inches of clearance, right? Laid down my seats, pushed my passenger and driver seat forward as far as we could humanly go and still be safe. Amelia drove because she was able to get in the driver's seat and drive safe. I got in the passenger seat and scrunched, pushed it, closed it, done. Hatch closed. That is true. I do have a pretty good natural eyeball for volume. So it's like looking at a box and seeing what will fit in it, or looking at the back of your car and a couch and going like, that'll work. And pretty much everybody going like, I don't think this is gonna work. Like so we got it at Goodwill. By the way, to tie up what I was saying before, like spending a bunch of money on a couch is not something I do. $50 at the Goodwill. Comfy as shit. It's clean. It's not like all filthy or anything. They don't take stuff like that at the Goodwill. $50 out the dough. You can't beat that with a big stick. Spatial awareness. That's what they call it. Yeah. Exactly. That's something that Amelia's always wilding out about. Is we'll have leftovers and I'll be like, I'm gonna pack these up, and I'll grab a Tupperware and she'll go like, you're gonna need a bigger one, honey. I'm like, no, I won't. Pack it in perfectly, lid on. She's like, damn. What are you supposed to do? Or anything about crafting your own personal style? Don't you think I have, kind of? I mean, it's not like wild or out there or anything, but don't you think I kind of cut my own jib now? Long hair, beard, kind of 90s-ish skater clothes and shoes and shit. And, don't you think I kind of already cut my own jib? I kind of feel like I do. Happy 45th, thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Who has the best drip between the three of you guys? I mean, I mean, I mean, you know, I mean, yeah, dude, the wrist warmer era of Scotty. Scotty in wrist warmers and a Cold t-shirt. You remember that band Cold? I gotta say, I agree with you. Peak Scotty. Yeah, no, I mean TJ's got style. But they didn't ask about style. They asked about drip. Dude, there's this moment from an interview of Lil Pump, you know, the rapper Lil Pump. It lives rent free in my head. Lil Pump is probably at the height of his career, and he's living in a filthy rented mansion, right? Filled with all this crap that he's just destroyed. So it's like nice stuff, but because he's basically still like a teenager, he's just destroyed it, right? And that whole place is just filthy. And he's sitting in there at this filthy table that he's destroyed, rolling a blunt. And he's talking about all of the clothes and stuff that he has. And he's like, man, yeah, you know, I got my 10 closets filled with clothes. I got all my clothes from back in the day, all my clothes. And he's like, but some of that shit, I just had to give it away to the homeless, man. He's like, what did you get? He's like, you gave away a bunch of your shit to the homeless? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, what is a homeless dude gonna do with a $2,000 Gucci sweater? And dude, Lil Pump doesn't even hesitate. He just goes, drip. And it's like, true. Drip. He said homeless people got to drip too. Oh, Lil Pump. He starts freestyling because he's wearing this long, it looks like it was made for a lady. He's wearing this long, like, jacket robe thing, and it has a belt that ties around it, right? And he calls it his grandma dress. And he's walking around one day. I think it's like when he's walking to show the interviewer guy his Lambo. And he's like freestyling as he's walking down the filthy hallway of this mansion that he's renting in Calabasas. And he's like, grandma dress on me, spent like 48 G's. And I'm just like, the world is ending. Grandma dress on me, spent like 48 G's. Grandma, and I'm just like, it's the end, man. You know? I feel like a lot of rappers are so much smarter than they let on. I agree, but I think a lot of rappers are a whole lot dumber than they let on to. I think there's a broad spectrum amongst rappers, bro. Well, Pranav, you could have had a floor-length Gucci trench coat. So, who came out on top there, brother? Grandma Dress on Me spent like 48 G's. Grandma Dress on Me. Who are the smartest and dumbest rappers in your opinion? This is going to be controversial. We're talking like modern rappers. Smartest. Playboy Cardi is up there. Kevin Gates is up there. Kevin Gates is way smarter than people give him credit for. So I'm thinking like probably they're at the top end of the spectrum. I would say Cardi and Kevin Gates. Lower end of the spectrum. I don't think Drake's very smart. So probably Drake. I'd put Kendrick somewhere in the middle. I think Kendrick's just smart enough to cause trouble. But I think Drake is dumb as a bag of hammers, to be honest with you. Kodak Black, I think, you know, as much as I love him, I think he's stupider than shit. And I gotta say, towards the low middle area, right there's Kanye West, bro. Right there. Musically, might be a genius. And every other way, bottom third percentile or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Waka Flocka seems dumb. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Hey, baby.
Would you rather see that movie today, or would you rather do a different day so you can chill out?
Yeah, let's do it later this week. Just
okay. So you can relax.
Yeah. I don't want to make a big fucking deal of it today.
Yeah.
I got my favorite present already. Amelia got me a beautiful hardbound Dowdy Jing with translations, like easy translations in it, which is really nice.
You can see how it went from the Chinese to English.
Yeah.
Which nuances.
Yep. Which I really like. And then some meditation balls. And so that's very nice.
Still gotta open your mom's present she sent you.
Yeah, and I've got to get back to everybody that's been texting me and all of that.
I know it's a whole job having your
It is
sometimes.
It is. No, I mean it's good to be loved, but anyway. With that, I bid you adieu.